Hi students, welcome to our week, and in this week for our marketing class we're talking about how do you put together a projected financial statement for your business. Now I hope that you remember from last week it was a little bit about how many quantity items do we think we're going to sell. So you all have different marketing businesses or marketing plans, and so you're going to be looking at, for example, let's say you have a business with deer hunts or with some kind of exotic hunts. You're going to have a level of a hunt with an animal score of whatever that range is for like a sure enough trophy hunt. Then you've got a cull hunt, and then you've got maybe some kind of a management hunt. Maybe those are the same. Maybe you've got hog hunts, feral hog hunts, and a helicopter that are one thing, and then other ways you can hunt. You could come up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different line items of things you're going to sell. So I guess my task for you is to make sure you know the items you're going to sell and how much you plan to sell them for, like a quantity. So if you take 10 hunts times $1,000, then we have $10,000 of revenue in that line item. And you would project that for year 1, 2, and 3. So that's kind of the idea that we have. Well, after you do that, how do you then take that concept and apply it to the rest of the profit and loss? How does that profit and loss look in a marketing project like we're doing? And then it may be a little different than an accounting one. And then also, how do you look at the changes over time for the different expense categories? So that's our goals of the video here. It also relates to the homework this week, and these are all things you're going to do in your marketing project. We also have exam 2 coming up, so this kind of wraps up the topic, but more on that later. All right, so in our video today, it's really about the content of the week, and it also relates to the homework you have this week. So how to complete the homework this week is going to be directly what I'm talking about in this video. So instead of presenting on it and you go do the homework, this is actually going to be pretty much your homework assignment. How do you get these answers? Some I'll have to give you, and some I'll let you on your own put together. So we'll see. Hopefully this will be able to help you is my whole goal. All right, so let's get into the homework and take a look at this example. All right, so I have here a P&L already placed into Microsoft Excel, which by the way is the best way to handle all of this work. If you're using some other spreadsheet, you're going to be at a disadvantage. So try to get a hold of Microsoft Excel so you can follow along with me. Some of the tips are just easier. I have organized my gross sales by the products I plan to sell and how much money year 1, 2, and 3 will bring me. I might have another spreadsheet that got me to these numbers, but now I have them. This, by the way, is an Equine Program Care package. And it's Equine Program, Critical Care Program, and that's an Equine EPCC Silver, which is the base package. Gold, is the next level, and Platinum is the next. Each of these levels offer horse owners additional levels of care, and it's mostly about preventative care. So the preventative care that's given hopefully makes the horses healthier and keeps their vet costs low. As a veterinarian, it gives me a guaranteed income where it's not ebbed and flow based on people coming in. So these packages, I've figured out how many I'm going to sell and what they're worth, and that gives me my estimated income. Now from there, this is where I want to show you the categories. Your marketing plan needs to have first something called cost of goods sold. So if I guide hunts, then I've got some direct costs like someone to go take the hunter out. I've got maybe a meal cost that goes along with every hunt. Maybe there's even a license that goes along with every hunt. There are things that go along with every dollar of sales. What are they? They're called cost of goods sold, and you list them. For my equine practice, it's the travel cost to go out and do the in-house visits, and then it's the vet care and medical cost of supplies when I go out there. Each package has more support, so I could break this up into the vet cost at each level. That could be easy, but I've got them all together, and really it's just kind of an average cost. That's going to get added together, and that is called cost of goods sold. Equals sum, grab the numbers. Now, part of cost of goods sold is to get this answer right here. It's called gross margin. Gross margin is taking your sales minus your cost of goods sold. You get what's called gross margin. Now, here's a test question for you. Not only the formula, but this number, gross margin, should always be positive. It never should be negative. If it's negative, you got to go back and rethink what you're trying to do here, even in the beginning stages, because marketing is about getting more of these things sold. So if this is the direct sales to that, and you sell more of them and that's negative, you'll lose more money as you sell more. So these aren't the goals. So gross margin should always be positive. So that's the first section you've got to add to your projected financials. What's the second section? And this is where it differs from an accounting one, it's called the marketing cost. So since this is a marketing plan, you want to really focus on what are the major marketing efforts we are going to have to promote our business based on the research that we found out there, looking at what SWOT analysis and other strategies we came up with, that we are going to spend some money on logo design and designing a backdrop for a booth. We're going to spend money traveling to 6 shows at $1,000 a piece in the first year. We're going to do a patch program where we spend $5,000. We're going to talk about getting 2 people, give them $2,500 a piece to wear our patches and try to grow that to promote our business. Printed advertisements, and then online advertising. Total that together, that's marketing expense of $27,000. And that's the next section. The final section of your P&L is all the rest of the costs that relate. Those are called operating costs. So we've got a marketing person that's going to help us run this whole thing, office cost, and utilities as part of the clinic where we have this regular equine practice. We're going to take a little bit of the utilities cost. That gets totaled together, and now we have the profit. So how do you get profit? Take your gross margin. We've already figured in these things. Remember, it's supposed to be positive. So a positive number, we hope, minus your marketing, minus your operations, that gives you a negative of 26.2. Now, you could just estimate the rest of these numbers. However, you'll end up having to try to explain how you got there. And the easiest way to explain any of these costs is just to look at how much more you think you're going to sell. Now, we've already got these calculated, but in your P&L, you really can get this done pretty easy. So here is where you are going. You'll have a homework, by the way, that looks just like this. And then I'm going to give you a few more things. But overall, I wanted to go over the layout of the P&L. So that is kind of check it off. That's done. Next, I want to look at how do you look at cost from year 1 and out. And that's what we need to look at now. So how do you do that? My best suggestion to make this easier on you and to make it formatted perfectly for your report is just insert a column between each year. This column is going to have in it a percent change. The format of this column, a whole column, is going to be a percent value, and I'm going to make the font kind of smaller, and I'm going to narrow this row a bit and narrow the column a bit and widen this row a bit, and I've got what I want here. Probably I'll go ahead and take that column, and if you use that format piece here, you can just click that and then format all of E to look just like that. And so you can copy that heading and paste it there, and now we have 2 columns added to our report. Now, what are they? Well, they are trying to figure out how much sales of this particular product went from this year to this year. So all you got to do is press equals. Go ahead and open parentheses and take the new sales. Here's the formula. New sales minus the original sales. Close the brackets, get that number, and then divide that total by where it started. And that means that our sales are going to go up by 51% from year 1 to year 2. Now that formula that I wrote, you double click on it, you can see it. I can just take that formula and copy it and then paste it all the way down, and I will get a formula done in each cell that's just like it. So if I double click on the 29%, you can see it just moved down the rows. And in fact, if I look all the way across, you can see that it's 38% overall. Our smaller program we think is going to grow a bunch. The middle program will grow by 31, and the platinum grows by less because it's more expensive and maybe they can't figure it out. But overall, looks like sales are going up about 38%. What about the next year? Now, we've already done this work. Make quick work of it. Copy my formulas and just paste them over. And it's going to move everything over. And now if you double click on any of these, you can see they've moved over to the next set of columns. So you could rewrite them again if you wanted, but that's 31%. So it looks like we're telling our investors and our business people that we are going to grow very aggressively in these first 2 areas in the first 2 years, these packages. But really, if we're going to be successful, we're going to get this higher level program to really jump here. And overall, that's going to be about a 30 some odd % growth each year. But it's that last year of that platinum is going to really, hopefully, is how we're building our marketing plan. Again, market research explains how these things happen, but here's where you show the results. All right, cost of goods sold. Now, we don't know these numbers. We could make them up, but that's not the best strategy. The best strategy is that we know these sales relate to these items up here. So we're talking about a 38% growth. I've already got the format here. Let's say that we're going to get a little bit of efficiency. In year 1 to 2, sales go up by 38%, but we're going to say that travel costs go up by about 30% because we are going to see more people, but they've got extra horses and we can get more clients, more horses underneath this policy at each location. But we're going to be traveling more, there's no doubt, so 30% more. What about vet care costs? Let's say we're traveling more and vet care costs are going to be about a similar effort. So let's say 30% is good there. Now, how do we use this to calculate year 2? Well, the answer is equals formula. Whatever our expense was, let's multiply it times 1 plus that rate of growth. And that's going to take 22,000 and make it go up by 38%, which is 28.6. Already written the formula, just copy it over. Looks like these formulas will total it up. In fact, let me just do that one. So go ahead and grab that, paste that over there. And that is 117,000 is our cost. Well, gross margin is a formula. Copy it, bring it over, paste it. Looks like gross margin was 31.8. Now it's 50,690. That's a good sign. All right, what about in the next year? Well, 31%, we're slowing up in our growth. 31% is our growth. Let's say that we only plan to really grow our cost by about 20% and vet care cost about 20% as well. So same idea. And let me show you a quick shortcut. You've already written all these formulas. Just copy all of them and bring them over. And when you do, that's going to make that number go up. That number's going to go up. That totals it, and that gives me my P&L. I'm looking at an $80,000 gross margin. All right, so you can see cost of goods sold. The changes have a connection to these changes up here, and that makes it an easier way to explain it and a more practical way to show it. All right, let's go to the next one, the marketing cost. Now, these are going to be somewhat connected to sales, so we can come through and decide that right away. Technology design, I am going to spend a little bit more money working on the logos and improving from year 1 to 2, not much. Traveling to shows, now I want to double this. So how do you double your expense? I went to 6 shows. I want to go up by another full 6 shows, 100% growth. The patch program, I want to double that as well. And then the printed advertisements, I want to do just a little bit more. And online, I want to do a little bit more. So now we have those. We could copy that formula again. But let's rewrite it so you can see it equals. Just take the number that you started with last year, multiplied times 1 plus the rate you think it's going to change by, and then hit enter. So that means we're going to have 52.5 in expenses. If I copy that all the way down, that means we're going to go to 12,000, 10,000, and you can see what we're doing here. The total is going to be just bringing that over, and it looks like we're spending 39.7 now. All right, next year, let's look at those percentages. Technology design went up by a little bit. Let's say it goes up by a little bit again. Traveling to shows and events, we're going now to 12 major shows at 1,000 a piece. Let's say that we keep that at maybe about the same. Let's go up by a quarter. Sponsorships to our patch program. We're sponsoring probably 4 people now. Let's go up a little bit on that as well. Printed advertisements, let's just keep it flat. And then online, let's really keep focusing with a little bit more growth. Once again, we've got our formulas equals. That's your value multiplied times again, just to get everybody to do it. 1 plus that percent growth. That's going to give me that. Now I got my formula, run it all the way down. I've got this to add up. Now, if you don't really have a formula to add with, on your screen is an auto sum. That actually does it for you. So there's my expenses there. We're definitely spending more money. All right, last one is operational costs. How do we handle these? Well, these are pretty much going to be flat. They don't have much of a connection to our efforts here, but maybe there's a little bit of a 2% cost every year just in inflation. And so equals. Now, by the way, I've already done the work. Let me just copy any of those formulas, paste them down here, and they just keep moving based on where our formulas are. Copy that all the way down. There is my total, bring it over and use it here. That whole set of formulas could be copied and brought right over here and pasted. Now, I don't have any growth, so let me put the growths in there. 2% more, 2% more, 2% more, and you can see the totals change. All right, let's look at what our profit is. Equals. Gross margin was where we started, need to be positive. We got cost of marketing expenses, and we've got operational expenses. Lose a little bit of money, looks like $20,000 in that year. We were aggressive about some things. Let me copy that formula and paste it over. And it looks like in year 3, we just eke out a little bit of a profit. All right, so there is a way that you could put together your projections. Now, what's nice about this, you've got a marketing plan here. These are all estimates. What if we decided that our aggressiveness here was just too much? These aren't going to really help us. I mean, we are going up by 38%, but we're doubling our efforts in this area. That's not really making us money back. Let's say that we did 50%. Let's say that we did 50% there. Well, you can see by just changing that 1 year, that put us up to a lot more profitable position here. So these formulas are able to be managed and are able to be utilized. Now, cost of goods sold is going to be tough to change because it's going to always be connected to this, but your marketing expenses, you could adjust a little bit. In fact, we come in here in our online marketing, we feel like we've ratcheted that up. In fact, spending $7,200 and going up to $9,000 is not going to be our focus. Let's just keep it flat. And in fact, printed ads, let's keep those flat as well. And then on our trade, our shows and events, let's just do 10% more as our budget in that year. So all of a sudden now, we've got the potential to create a little bit better income. If we come back to these areas, we could even alter those. But I'm going to stop there with my time. All right, now that is how you take the percent values and you calculate the sales. You use those results to figure out all of the other growth periods. And now it's easy for us to explain that we feel like our answers to cost of goods sold would move 30% more in year 1 and 20% more in year 2 as we gain some efficiencies. Overall, our technology design won't change as much, but we'll be very aggressive with 50% increases in cost and then 10% increases of cost in these trade shows and patch programs. Overall, our expenses are going to move about 2%. So you see how easy it is to explain because we have these percents to use. You could even, if you wanted overall from a marketing expense, you could just look at these and do equals. This is where we estimate our cost to be. They came from this level divided by where they started. And we can say that our marketing costs are going to go up by 27% in year 1 to 2 and 6% in year 2 to 3. And so it's easy to see based on looking at how low these got. But these are answers that we can get once we build these. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight that, these percentages in. All right, the last one is ROI on your marketing expense. So return on investment per marketing expense. And so really what we're looking at here is how much are we growing our gross margin based on our marketing, because that's what we're trying to grow here. Now, our operating costs are going to be what they are, but how much are we growing that value? So marketing expense per dollar, I could do this dollars in gross margin per dollar in marketing Now that's another way. And if you want to widen these rows, you can just double click between A and B and it'll automatically widen it. But that gets to be a little wide. I might want to pull that back a little bit and get that more organized. And then I could choose format, and then I can choose wrap text. And that'll wrap that around a little bit. So what I can do here is just say equals. Well, we have a gross margin. That's the money we want divided by our marketing expenses. So for every dollar we spend in marketing, we are earning $1.18 in gross margin. And that formula can be copied across each year. And that's a good one to see because that tells me that I'm spending $1.18 in my marketing and my gross margin is going up to by $1.18. Every dollar I spend in marketing next year is going up by $1.48 and $2.22. That is good for us to show, and so I would want to promote that in my marketing plan. Sometimes it's your ROI in marketing, but you're looking at your let's see, your dollars or your profit per dollar of marketing. So that's another way to look at it. You could do that equals. My profit is this divided by my marketing dollars. And I'm losing, turns out to a dollar sign, I'm losing 97 cents for every marketing dollar I spend. In the next year, I'm losing 44 cents. And in the next year, I'm not losing anymore, I'm gaining 33 cents in profit. So there's a couple of ways to look at marketing investments, and those are the easiest ways to look at them in dollar returns. Okay, so this is an example of what you all are going to do. This Excel spreadsheet, this profit and loss statement with the percentages and all is really easy to just copy, which you could go here easy, copy this and paste this right into your Word formatted marketing plan report. So it's really easy to copy and paste out. And then the text that you would write would reference these. This is the format of your marketing project. This is an example of one done in the past, and so hopefully it helps. This is also an example of how you could take just the quantities that you know of sales and you have to estimate your first year of expenses. But once you have that, how do you do year 2 and 3? This is how you would do it. Hopefully knowing how to use Excel in this video will help you. Hopefully covering these areas will help you. It is the homework of this week, so make sure you take a look at that. And it's also something you're all going to do in your projects when we get to that spot. So hopefully this helps. Thanks.